my name is Karina Allen, and the language acquisition theory that David and I were given was the social interactionism theory. So, what this theory is, it is how exists as a form of communication that is learned and practiced through interactions between adults and children. So, this is stuff that happens every day in the classroom, even out when children are out at grocery stores, stuff like that, even at home. Anything that really is just interacting with other people and learning how social cues work. So, the standards that we focused on for our mini teach, we had about three standards. So, the first one was how we analyze main ideas presented in diverse media. Now, mind you, this is for a seventh grade classroom in reading. So, these standards are a little bit higher than elementary level. Um, and then our second standard was the use of knowledge and using concise knowledge and correct vocabulary. And that follows in with our third standard, which is age appropriate vocabulary. So using probably larger words than we would in a sixth grade classroom or a fifth grade classroom. So the mini teach that we decided to do follows this objective. So we want them to communicate clearly through dialogue. That is the main part of social interactionism, and this activity that we have created gives them the ability to do that. So the goal is the students will learn to practice speech by using relevant context, interacting with peers, and practicing cognitive and oral skills. So the activity that we have for them was students are going to be given a reading. So that reading, they're going to be working on understanding context through discussion with peers, working on relating with the context, relating with the reading, and how they can form and convey their own opinions. And the second part of this, the second part of our activity, is they're going to be given a set of vocab words to utilize in conversation with their peers. So, what we're looking for in this is we're looking that they're using, they have a purposeful use of their vocab, and that they're sharing their time wisely, and that they're having meaningful and expressive conversations. So, that is what we're looking for in this activity. And what we are measuring this by is how quick can students form words and make connections and use the vocab correctly. So, overall, our mini teach is pretty simple, and we are looking to just really observe the social interactions that these kids are having with each other and determine if they are really catching on to the curriculum or if they need more time working with other people to create their own opinions and use larger vocab. So David's going to take it away now. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're going to go right into the mini teach.
Hello, good morning everybody. I hope we're having a fantastic day so far, and if we're not, I think this activity is going to help fix that. Thank you so much for giving me your attention. We're going to go in and talk about the goals and the objectives of our activity. Of course, really, we should never do something without purpose, right? Everything needs to have purpose, reason. We don't just want to do an action without purpose, because then what's the point of doing it? So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and read each of these little bulletin points. I'm going to read one of them. I'm going to have you repeat it back. Sound good? Sound good? Awesome. Fantastic. So, to begin, we are going to read and understand our vocabulary words. So, we are going to what? Good job. So what vocabulary words am I talking about? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Well, it's going to be three of these. We're all going to have three different vocabulary words. They should all be different in terms of one should be a verb, one will be an adjective, and then one will be a noun. So what are we going to do with these words exactly? You might be wondering. Well, before we get into that, we are going to read our book and reflect on what we learned. So we're going to do what? Exactly. So, we're all going to have a choice of one of three books, three journals really. They're like 2 pages long. They're not a dictionary that we're trying to read and memorize. We're all going to have three different books, and they're going to have three different topics. So one's going to be on sports, one will be on outer space and science, and the other one's going to be about nature and animals. Okay? You all will get a chance to choose what you want to do. If each group has a different book, I think that's fantastic because that means we all get to learn something new. With that being said, we have the big objective down here. After we read our book, we are going to share our reflection to our group friends. Also, you're going to be in groups. By using our vocabulary words. So we're going to share our what? Exactly. So essentially what we're going to do is we're all going to read these books, these little journals. We're going to take some time to understand what they mean to us, and we're going to think about, well, what did I learn? What didn't I not know before? What did I like about the book? What I didn't like about the book? My favorite part, my least favorite part. And even if you didn't like the book at all, well, explain why you didn't like it. However, you're not just going to say, I like the book. You're going to use your 3 different words to describe how you like the book. You're going to share it with all of your friends, and we're going to go around the group and kind of talk about it together. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and kind of explain how this is working. We're going to see an example by myself, but then you guys are going to go ahead and do the activity yourself. So firstly, you all will be given a piece of paper just like this. This is going to be your vocabulary word. As you can see, you're going to have a blank spot, a blank square here. I already drew in mine, but if you look at this one, for example, it's going to be blank already. This is what you're going to get. Okay? This word is your vocabulary word, and you might have a little V, an N, or an ADJ. Okay, and these are just going to stand for adjective, noun, and verb. This is so that your group can see it a little bit more visual, so they can also get that in mind and as to how the word should be properly used grammatically. So, my word is indicate. I don't know what that means. What does indicate mean? Does anybody know? That's okay. I didn't know either. I don't know either. So if you turn it around, you're going to have all these different words and sentences, and I don't know what this means. Well, this word means to show or to give evidence of. Okay, so the word, and then you have your definition in the back. Right underneath that is going to show how you use it in a sentence. So to indicate something. So this word, if I were to say it in a sentence, means to indicate something. Well, I'm not sure what that means exactly still. That's okay. Right in the bottom there, we have an example of how the word is actually used in a real-life sentence. So, right here we have this book indicates blank. The marks of this animal indicates blank. Okay? And now that we have all this knowledge of what the word means, how we use the word, we have this locked in our head now. We have it soaking in our head. We're going to go to our little box, and we're going to draw something that shows what this word means. So for example, I drew a stop sign. To me, a stop sign indicates, well, not to me, but a stop sign indicates that we're going to stop if we're driving. Okay? We have a little finger that's pointing in a direction. Well, I'm indicating I'm trying to show you something. And then we have an arrow down here that's pretty similar to the finger. And again, the arrow is trying to indicate something. It's trying to show you something. It's trying to give evidence of something. Now that I have this in my head, now that it's in my head, right, I'm going to grab one of the books that I chose. It could be any of these 3 books, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I love animals. Animals and nature, that's so cool to me. So I'm going to get this book and I'm going to read it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and look at it. I'm going to read it for a quick second. Okay, cool. Sounds fantastic. Now, I've had time to think. I've had time to let my words soak in my mind. I'm going to go ahead and take a few minutes to just really think about what I liked about that book, what I didn't learn, or what I didn't know before, what I learned now, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, all the things that I experienced while I was reading that book. Okay? After that, I'm going to grab my vocabulary and I'm going to go ahead and share what I learned about the book using the vocabulary words. So, for example, I might say that this book gives me a glimpse as to how animals in nature live. I learned that wolves and dogs are identical. I learned that predators will proceed to stalk their prey and eat them because they need to survive too. Once I read all of my vocabulary words and explained what the book meant to me, what I learned from the book, I'm going to go ahead and let my friend in the group share their story, share what they learned from their book, and you will also, my friend, use the vocabulary words to describe the book. Once they have finished, the next person will do the same thing, and then, oh, we all went once. Well, let's try to get more knowledge out of the book. Let's see how much we could keep using our vocabulary words, and let's just keep going in a circle until the activity is over. A fun thing to do, and if you feel confident enough, is that we can also switch our vocabulary words with each other. Okay? That way we can start learning new words and we can get things into our minds better. However, if we still feel unconfident and we still don't know the words exactly, keep practicing. Practice until you understand the words fully. Don't try to push anything. Take your time to really soak in what the words mean. Okay? And that's totally fine. So with that being said, now that we know the goals and the objectives, now that I've shown you how this is all going to work, we're going to do it ourselves. So, I want everyone to raise a fist up just like this, and I'm going to point at you. We're going to get into groups of 3. So I'm going to point 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If I point on you, I want you to raise what number you are in that group. So if I point at you and you're number 1, then 1. If I point at you and you're number 2, then you're 2. If 3, then 3. Once we all have our numbers and our groups, we're going to get into our groups. So group 1 is going to be on this side right here. Group 2 is going to be on this side right here. And group 3 will be on this side right here. I want you all to also make a circle so that you're all able to see each other. And then we're going to get more into the activity. So first, let's focus on just getting into our groups, all right? So let's go ahead and start. So starting with you. So 1, 2, 3. Awesome. We all have our numbers. Go ahead and get into your designated spots now. Go ahead and take some quick time to do that. You do not need your pencil. I'm going to provide us crayons and colored pencils and all that. Just move yourselves, your bodies over to these established groups. So go ahead and do that really quick. Awesome. Possum, everybody. Good job. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you all 3 vocabulary words. Understand that everyone should have 3 different words, and they should all be of these 3 different colors. So blue is going to be for verbs, red is going to be for nouns, and then yellow will be for adjectives. So we should all each have 3 of these different colored sheets. If we do not, because I made a silly mistake, please let me know and I could fix that for us, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and go around and hand us all each individually 3 different vocabulary words. Cool? Sound good. So here we go. Here we go. And there we go. Awesome. So now that we all have our vocabulary words, I want us all to choose one of the 3 different journals. Oops. 3 different journals that we want to read. So choose something that you're interested in. It doesn't need to be something that you're bored of, okay? I want you to be interested in what you're reading so that we have energy and excitement when we describe what these all are to us. Sound good? Fantastic. So go ahead and choose. Go ahead and choose. Go ahead and choose. Great job. Now that we have all of our material, hold on just a second. I also need to give us all some colored pencils. And there we go. We should all have colored pencils and crayons and markers, things to make art with now. Now that we have all of our materials, I want you to take your word, and I want you to go ahead and read what your vocabulary words are. Each of them, all of them. Go ahead and take some time to read them really quick. And we're just reading the word itself. We're not looking at definitions just yet. I just want you to get the word implanted first. Okay? Right, that's been about a minute. Everyone seems to know their word now. Now go ahead and start to uncover and explore and discover what your word means and how we could use it in sentences, the examples we have, as well as the definitions. Okay, so go ahead and take some time, get your card, and flip it over. Let's go ahead and start digesting it mentally now, okay? And we'll give you a few minutes to do that really quick. Really soak it in. Take your time reading it. Take your time looking at the examples. You have a lot of information to look at, so take your time. It's okay. Sweet. It's been a few minutes now. Everybody seems to know their word. Now that we have our definitions, let's switch it around again. In this box, I want you to go ahead and draw something that the word means to you. Okay? Just go ahead and draw whatever it may be. Once you're done, I want you to go ahead and get your paper, put it down, get your colored pencils, and put it back in the middle of the table. And then just sit up straight, just relax, breathe, and just think about your word, okay? Just look at your word, think about it, think about how you would use it in a sentence. I'm going to give you all a few minutes to think about that, to draw, to learn, to digest everything mentally. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you for your response. Awesome possum. Looks like we are all done. Now that we have our vocabulary, that we know what the word is, we drew a picture, we have a solid idea of what the word means, I want us all to share our words to all of our group members. A little presentation. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and read the word. I want you to look at the back side. I want you to explain the word, the definition, and I want you to use it in an example. And once you do all that, I want you to show your art, show your picture, and why you drew that thing. Why'd you draw it? You know, how does that connect to your word? All right? So go ahead and take some time. Once you're all done, go ahead and just put your papers down again and just sit up straight and just kind of digest and think about it. Okay? Each person will go one at a time. So one person, well, everyone's quiet, and then the next person, everyone's quiet, and the next person. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you. Sweet. It's been a few minutes and it looks like everybody is all set with their vocabulary words. Good job, and thank you so much for learning those words. You know, it's important that we expand our dictionary, that we expand our words so that we can sound a little bit more smart, so that we could use less words to describe things, and it just gives us more tools to use when we build our structure in grammar and sentences and descriptions and all this kind of stuff. Now that we have that done, I want you to grab your book and take some time to read it. Okay, I'm going to give us a few minutes. Once you're done reading it, just put it back down and just stare at something, right? Just keep your mind occupied, okay? But go ahead and take your time reading the book. I don't want you to rush through it. I really want you to just understand what the book is trying to convey. Look at the materials, look at the different topics that the book is trying to convey. All right, so really take your time reading it. There's no rush. I will begin the next activity whenever everybody is finished with their book. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you so much. Go ahead and start reading. All right, it looks like everybody is done reading. Now I want you to go ahead and get your word. I want you to read it again really quick. This isn't going to be a long time, but I want you to look through all your words. I want you to read the words, look at your picture, look at the description, look at the meaning of it all, and I want you to start thinking for a little bit how you could use these words to describe your book. Okay? Once everybody is done, again, put everything down, and then we will be ready to go. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and start rushing us just a little bit now. We're going to go ahead and start doing our description of the book to everybody else. So this is kind of like a presentation, okay? We're going to describe what we liked about the book, what we learned about it, what we didn't like about it, what we didn't know before, cool examples, cool facts, anything like that. It could be anything in the entire world that you thought was neat about the book or didn't think was neat about the book. While you describe the book, you must use each of these vocabulary words at least one time. Once you use each vocabulary word one time, you're going to put your stuff down and you're going to go let the next person do the same thing. Once that person is done, the next person will go. Once everybody is done, you're going to go ahead and decide if you want to switch vocabulary words. And if even one person feels like they're not ready to do that yet, that's totally okay. Let's do another round. We're just going to keep going until we feel comfortable enough to switch vocabulary words. And if we don't feel comfortable enough, that's totally fine too. We could just stick with our words until we know how to use it properly. It's better to know how to use these words properly rather than just trying to skim through them and not use them correctly. Cool? Um, However, if anyone in the group is having a hard time using these words, that's okay. You have two friends that are going to help you use the word too. So if someone is having a hard time using their vocabulary words and they're stuck on something such as proceed, I can't figure out the word proceed, I don't know how to use it in a sentence, then everyone in the group must help that person use that word in a sentence in some kind of way. And it becomes kind of a team group effort. Now, if you cannot use your vocabulary word in a sentence, that's totally okay. We're not trying to be perfect. We're practicing. Everything that we're doing in this classroom is just practicing and trying. As long as you try to use a word, you didn't fail. You're just practicing. And I think that's awesome. So be sure that we're all team players and that we're supportive and that we're being kind to each other and that we're helping each other use these words properly so that we can all sound smart and intelligent and expand our vocabulary words together. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. If we all can't figure out how to use the word, if we're all stuck, raise your hand. Everybody in the group, raise your hand, and I'll come by and I'll try to help as well. And then we will get past it together as a group. Cool? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be walking around the classroom. I'm going to sit down because I don't know some of these topics too. I'm still a student. I'm still learning. And I'm going to just listen to your explanation of the book and see how you use your vocabulary words so that you can help me be a little bit more quick with vocabulary and be a little bit more knowledgeable with these different topics, okay? But again, if you need help, please raise your hand so that I can come help you. Sound good? We're going to go ahead and there's no time limit at this point. I'm just going to let you all share your stories, take as much time as you need to. And we're just going to keep rotating and rotating until this activity is over with our class time. Awesome. So go ahead and start reading. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, start. Oh, you have a question? What's up? Awesome. So let me see your word. So we all have elude. Well, you have elude, but I'm showing all of you, we have the word elude. Seems that we're having some trouble using this word. That's really fine. This word is kind of weird to think about and use, right? So let's look at the definition. So allude means to refer to something. So to make an allusion to something, right? And the example says, this book alludes to, and the other example is, it is alluded that. So, let's see your book. Your book is about space. That's awesome. So, I read a little bit of this book and I know a little bit about it. And I know that it said that if oxygen is on a planet, it could mean that there's life available. So what I could say instead is, I learned in this book that oxygen can allude to life. I also saw that Mars was on here, and it said that the different canyons on Mars can allude to life had been living there at one point. Those are two examples we can use allude. We also have animals here. So for animals, we can say, well, the blue rings of an octopus alludes that it's poisonous, that it's deadly. Bright colors allude that this animal is dangerous in a poisonous or venomous way. Let's see. So for sports, we can say an injury can allude to the game ending or a penalty on the other team's part. Those are a couple examples. I hope that helps. Let's go and see what you could use this word for. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stay here. I want you to try your best to use that word. So go ahead and give it a shot. Just go ahead and think for a little bit. Okay, I have a bunch of examples of what this word means and how we could use it. Let's see you use it for your description of the book really quick. Sweet. Yeah, that's exactly how you use it. Good job. And all that took was some teamwork, and I think that's fantastic. Okay, so go ahead and keep going around in a circle. If you need any more help, just let me know as well. Okay, sound good. Thank you. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down right here. I see that you're talking about sports. I am not very knowledgeable about sports, so please educate me. Just thank you. Sweet, that's fantastic. Good use of the vocabulary words too. That's really great. I'm proud of you. Awesome, everybody. So that seems like class time is now over. I hope that we were able to understand our goals in practice, right? So just as a quick recap of what we did today, so that we have this locked in our minds, because again, we don't do anything without purpose or reason, and I want everything that we do in this classroom to be for purpose and reason. Okay, so we read and understood our vocabulary words. Good job. We read our book and reflected on what we learned. Good job, you all did that, right? And then we shared our reflection with our group friends, and we used our vocabulary words to describe the book and our reflection with that, which you all did fantastic. And I learned a lot from all of you too. You taught me different ways to use these vocabulary words, and you also taught me different information I didn't know previously about these topics in these books. So thank you everybody for being such wonderful teachers to myself and to yourselves. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please keep using these words as much as you can throughout today. Practice them. If you don't practice, they're not going to stick. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful and fantastic day.